Now, Don Bluth Productions creates a new world of animation where fantastic creatures,
Why have you come?
great dangers, and great adventure await you. Look there. Discover The Secret of NIMH from the award-winning children's classic, rated G.
Starts Friday, Split Century City, Hollywood, and selected theaters.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
You will suffer an eternity for this.
Sorry, everybody. No funny clip to get us started because this movie is not like that at all.
No.
1982's Secret
But
of
it's great.
NIMH. What's that?
I say no, but it's great. You know.
Absolutely. Now, we have a fun guest with us. We PWG John. John, thank you for joining us this week. I'm going to start with you. What is your first memory of this movie? And what do you think about it?
Oh God, yeah, that's why I actually want to be on this show, because this is one of the first movies I kind of really remember from my childhood. Like the main, the character that is kind of dead throughout the movie, Jonathan. Like that's my name, so you know, like I was always just like, oh, this movie's so great. I think I watched this. Jesus, it came in '82. I think I watched it when I was 5, so in 1986, I think was the first time I watched it, and just would watch it throughout. You know, my young childhood days. Sandy Duncan's awesome. Everybody is, you know, top tier. It is probably my favorite Don Bluth movie, quite honestly. Although all the other ones are quite good, but I don't know. It's captivating, and the music still sticks with me. So I when I saw that this was one of the opportunities to come and talk about something, I was like, I will be there for that show. Yeah.
Yeah, that was only a few months ago, and I'm still glad you still want to come on and join us for this. So
Always.
we absolutely like to talk about first memories. Kevin, do you have a first memory with this movie, or is this your first time watching it?
No, man, this is another one of those situations where it's one of my earliest memories from childhood. Watching movies like this, E.T., Superman, Swamp Thing. Those were like very core early childhood memories that I remember watching with my friend Suzanne Silva. And like I just remember being so captivated by this as a kid and not necessarily understanding it because I was only like 3 at the time, 3 or 4. But just so enthralled by the beauty of this film and how scary it was, at least for me at the time, because I had no idea what this movie was about. None whatsoever. I just knew that Mrs. Brisby's kids were in danger and that somehow that like they were going to get saved. Like it was entertaining to me as a 3 or 4-year-old. Watching it as an adult I was very, very interested. I almost wanted to film myself watching it again.
Oh, that's funny. I actually had to watch it like a couple of times in a row. I tried to watch it last night with my wife, Saturday night with my wife, because we were doing like some spaghetti and red wine and things like that. And it's like, get a little dozy. It's a kind of a comfort movie for me, and especially for my wife. This is one of my wife's absolute favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can understand why. Like, it's an excellent movie. But my first memory of this movie is basically like when it came out on DVD. I feel like I watched this as a kid, but I also have a mix of like 5-0 Goes West and the American Tale, like those stupid mouse movies. I know they're stupid, but I always kind of felt like there was some sort of like interchange with them, because I don't remember ever seeing this growing up or on VHS tape. Just somewhere in there, I had to have watched it at some point. And then when it came out on DVD, I eventually would watch it again and think like, oh, this is pretty damn dope. And that's when I became accustomed to Don Bluth and understood his filmography and everything he did. And there is no sequel, and the books are better.
Indeed. I distinctly remember the time that I watched it in kindergarten, which was like back in 85, 86. That, you know,
There you go.
I can't remember like the entirety of the time that I was watching, but it was imprinted in me like, this is so great. Nicodemus, like all the everything inside the thorn bush and everything is just, yeah, very, very captivating, magical.
Very magical. And I love the fantastical elements to it. So everybody, this is what we do on 0-Point Reviews. We like to talk about our memories. Then we like to get into the good, the bad, and then we judge these movies. And Kevin, let's get going with the good. And before we do that, everybody hit that like button down below. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, and let's get rolling.
Indeed.
Thanks.
I have liked and shared the stream, as you all should. And if you don't share it yourself, go find my X post and repost it yourself.
Hey, we will make sure you are shouted out at the very end as well.
No worries.
All right, Kevin, what you got for the good?
Fuck, man. So I didn't know what I was going to need when watching this movie. I didn't know if I was going to need like some cathartic therapy after the fact, what sort of like repressed
Thankfully, it's not Watership Down.
National Institute of Mental Health. Like, let's go, buddy.
Oh, I had no idea that's what that was. I was like, son of a, wow, okay, huh, neat, but okay. Yeah, so I didn't know what to expect coming in watching this. I expected a fantasy movie, was not expecting a sci-fi movie. And it's a little bit of both. And I can't complain about that. Usually, and John, forgive me, but Jeff will explain, like, I don't like two mythologies mixing because generally one I don't believe in, and just,
right.
You know, there's just anyway, like a prophecy where you've got the Native American religion and the Catholic religion. It's like, well, wait, those are two very different things.
Hey,
anyway,
let's slam them together.
Yeah,
right.
One of those two things doesn't believe in the other.
Right.
Anyway, but I really enjoyed this last night. Not as much as I did as when I was a kid. It had a couple boring moments for me, but golly damn, I haven't enjoyed a Don Bluth movie this much since I first saw this 40 friggin' years ago.
Right.
And I'm sorry, before I let you get going, I'm sorry. I had the pleasure of meeting Don Bluth once when I was 21, I think. And that like changed my life in the weirdest way because I had such the chip on my shoulder against his movies. Like I hated All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Land Before Time. I'd seen too many times. I had a little brother that loved Don Bluth movies and had the VCR and knew how to hit rewind. So it was like, I got tired of those flicks so quick. And I thought I hated his movies. And I don't. Like as an adult, I wish I could just like flick the back of my ear and be like, you putz. I don't dislike his movies. I respect them. I don't care for them so much, but God dang, I like that man. Like he is such a nice, genuinely sweet man. And I think this is the best thing I've ever, the best thing I've enjoyed from him.
I'd say this and probably Land Before Time. I think you did that one.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say. And then probably Dragon's Lair.
Oh, Dragon Slayer's good.
Does that count? I want to say it does.
Was that just a cartoon? Yeah, that was the cartoon, and then they based the video game off of the cartoon. Or was it the other way around?
The video game came first, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, my memory's a little fuzzy with that time, so. But no, this movie's pretty damn good. Like all around, there's good quality to it. There's things that feel like it's a little disjointed at times with cutscenes, and that'll probably be where I flare up in the bad segment of our review here. But for the most part, the animation is outstanding, and I love how serious the movie takes itself. And the musical notes are chef's kiss as far as I'm concerned, because it's Jerry Goldsmith or
soundtrack's impeccable, like all the way through. It's just a pleasure.
It's Jerry, right?
It was Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry Goldsmith. Yep. And I could like jam. I could like fall asleep to that music like every night, and that's not a bad thing.
No.
It's just that music, those musical notes were hitting me the other night when we were trying to watch it, and I'm like, oh, this is relaxing, and it also hit the nice spooky notes when it needed to. So, John, what about you? You got any favorite moments or any aspects of this that you think are really standing out?
Dom DeLuise is amazing in this as
Young
Jeremy.
Dom DeLuise.
Yeah. No, he's great. I love the whole section where they go to see the great owl. Like that entire just segment. It's not too long, but it is so awesome. Like I'm sitting here like just looking at it going, oh, I need to like clip this so I can use this for something. Because like when the great owl's head turns and he's like, why did you come here? You know, it's so good. I mean, this when I watch this thing, it's just I'm immediately just kind of like I don't care about any of the weird effed up shit that's going on in the world. And it's just like this is what I'm here for. And it's just like it's got good pacing in the sense that, you know, because it's kids movies from the 1980s, so you know they tried to keep those within 90 minutes. So I know that people say, oh, the book is better. I can say, you know, like this is my pretty much my knowledge of it, because once I saw this cartoon, I was like, yeah, there may be a book. Maybe someday I'll actually read it because it is such a great story that I'd probably like to dig in deeper with it. But the way that, you know, it's brisk and they keep it tight, but the story is consistent all the way through. You can follow it really well. I'm sure that, you know, like you could probably get nitpicky, but thankfully for me, I guess in this instance, it's kind of one of those movies where I'm kind of a normie and it's just like, this is what I know it as. And this is what I've always known it as. So I just really appreciate the vocal talent. The guy who plays Justin sounds a lot like Bruce Boxleitner, but it's not. And so like, I always have to remember it's not Tron, but it sounds like him basically. You know,
yeah, there were some voices that sounded like oddly familiar, but they weren't.
Right.
I want to say one of them, I'm like, that sounds like Matt McKean, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's
young Shannon Doherty.
Yeah, Shannon Doherty and Will Wheaton are in voicing characters. I'm like, I don't hear it at all because they're such little kids.
Right, right.
But that blew me away. I was like, Brenda? Shit.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. It's like that totally changes my perspective of my childhood. I did not realize that until literally watching it the other night, because my wife was like, you didn't know that? I thought you were a movie guy. I'm like, shut up.
I've had a crush on her since I was 2.
Now you know why. It's because your voice was imprinted in your brain when you were like, you know, like still in your developmental stage.
Right, like I was like
oh
predispositioned to enjoy 90210 as a young adult.
Right. But yeah, no, there's so much good in this. I mean, that when it actually gets to the whole thing about being lab rats and all that kind of stuff, like there's actually like a lot going on in the story, even more than just the story itself. Like so much you can extrapolate from it, and I'm sure that's probably the stuff that's in the book that I haven't read. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's Dragging the Cat's great. You know, the action scenes, you know, as a little kid, this and like the Dark Crystal, I would say like these were like my things that I always gravitated to. Dark Crystal, I first encountered as like I was reading an audiobook it was from our elementary library, and it came with a book and then an audio tape. And so it had like the background music, everything like that. And so like when I actually watched, it's like, oh, it's kind of freaky, spooky when I was a little kid. But this, you know, it's got spooky elements, but the colors and like the way that the animation is, the backgrounds, everything's just like it's captivating, and it's like it's almost calming even when it's in those weird kind of like darker, spooky moments. And you know, Miss Brisby is such a great mom. You know, it's like a really strong female character, even though it's a mouse, you know, right?
In the 80s? Come on,
right?
You're pulling my leg. You're screwing her. You fuck off.
Right. Even Auntie Shrew is great. I love so much about this movie. It's like I just kind of, like I say, when I watch it, I just kind of shut off everything. And it's just bliss,
Yeah, when I told my wife we were watching this, she's like, that's our movie on Saturday night we're watching. And
Right.
and she's like, hey, you ain't watching this movie without me. And I'm like, well, I'm probably gonna watch it a couple of times for notes purposes
Mhm.
outside of that. She's like, nope, we're doing it Saturday. I'm like, cool. And
Right.
I
Can't
enjoyed
argue
the
that.
hell out of it. It's a lot of fun. The atmosphere on it is outstanding. The animation work is really good. Gooch would probably say that the line work is amazing here. Like the art is just beautiful, and not just the backgrounds, but all over the place. So your eyes are
Yeah.
constantly like moving around the scene. So if you're watching this for the first time, you're actually like focused on what you need to be focused on. So on rewatches, you can actually gather like all the other details and like the backgrounds. Like even on this
Ambient
good
details
scene,
on
you
point.
kind of go further back, and it feels like, man, am I dipping into Dead Space or Alien here? Because in my opinion, there's an underlying horror movie here that
Mhm.
gives you that vibe of unsettledness, darkness, and that Mrs. Brisby continues to strive and push through to protect her kids, save her kids, and move everything forward. And all at the same time of, hey, what happened to Jonathan, her husband? Oh,
Mhm.
she didn't know what he was doing and how he actually died. So in my opinion, that's what probably pulls me in the best, is like there's a horror movie underneath this that just kind of continues to pull you in. And the more you watch this movie, the more you feel that.
Right. Right. So much going on here. Like, and it works as just a simple kids movie. Like, but as you get older and the more that you can actually take in everything that is taking place within the story itself, talking about animal research testing and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's insanely great and vivid, and just all the detail that's in there.
Yeah, I had to pause it and holler at my wife, who does not like animated features. I'm like, hey, baby, NIMH stands for National Institute of Mental Health.
Right.
She's like, oh,
Okay.
okay. I'm like, that's what I said.
They only drop it like 2 or 3 times in the movie.
Right.
I was like, I have no fucking clue where they're going to go with this. This is great.
Well, and I like that because it basically gives you the underlying narrative of what's going on, how these rats, the mice, and the owl all got their intelligence and knowledge. They were experimented on.
Mm-hmm.
So also this movie is low key like, okay, so PETA, this is where you got the idea from, I guess, on how to formulate and try and protect animals because of like experimentation. And you're also getting to the children who are going to think, oh man, hey, can I experiment on my gerbil over here? Can it rule the world in 5 years? Like, hey, Pinky and Brain, yo, you're coming up next in 20 years.
Right. I know this movie's so good.
Yeah, a lot of the dialogue is very good. And you mentioned the pacing earlier. I think that's amazing in this. And like just the overall flow of the movie, just it's good. And it comes in at about 82 minutes, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's perfect for a children animated movie. And there's not too much messaging other than any 80s messaging you might figure. But there's like no Reaganomics. There's none of that kind of crap. It's just talking
family.
about like, what would be a standard kid growing up in the 80s sort of movie. And I appreciate that. So Don Bluth did a damn good job. Great cast, great acting. And it's just a fun damn movie.
So much
But
so.
I don't know about rewatchability on this level. I would say that you watch it a couple times, you might be good for a while. This is not like say a Toy Story or like say, I don't know, anything else from the 80s that was animated. I'm trying to think of like an American Tail might be something that's a little more kid friendly. For a G-rated movie, this is pretty bleak.
Yeah. To be honest, though, I
get
think
it.
that's the reason I would even watch it even more, though, especially as I've gotten older, is because there's so much, like, when you're a kid watching this, you're just looking at, like, the mice and, like, all the stuff that's going on, but like the deeper implication that you talk about, there is something here where it's like, wow, it allows your mind to kind of wander. But that amazing soundtrack, the way that it just kind of carries you through for the 82 minutes, this is something I could easily just throw on at the end of the day when I go to lay down and just kind of like, yeah, just go to sleep now, be lullabies.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. We all got our movies like that. For me, it's probably like Dark City, where I just I put it on, just kind of zone out, and 5 minutes later I'm dead asleep, and I'm like, well, that's my comfort zone,
right?
But Secret of NIMH, it's got a definite place for everybody. And Kevin, you got anything else on the good side for Secret of NIMH?
You guys mentioned a little bit already, but the artwork in general, just how stellar it is, and then the underlying horror tones. And when you put it that way, I think that's probably what attracted me so much as a kid, or made me like it so much, because I was a horror baby growing up. That's what I was always attracted to. Mm-hmm. And I think it's these terrifying images, because they truly are that. Don Bluth is the greatest there is at animating villains. Like, you look at the villains that he's done, his T-Rex, Ratigan, the dragon in this, like all of them, are Lucifer in Cinderella. They're all just very savage looking villains. And Jenner in this is no different, although albeit not villainous. Nicodemus here, and then the owl, terrifying to look at with the glowing eyes. Like I see those glowing eyes in the shadows, and it keeps my soul up chilled at night, even at 45 years old. And I'm like, Jesus, this is awesome. We'll get that therapist on the line just yet.
I can see through time.
I'm still here.
Right.
Good point, Marvin. Don Bluth beats any computer animations.
Yes, and
True.
he always has. He always will. Mr. Bluth is absolutely my favorite animator. Like, take away all my love for He-Man and stuff like that, and the Batman animated series. Like, Don Bluth is just amazing. His work is phenomenal.
I think the last one I remember him doing was like Anastasia or something like that. And I thought that was a great 20th Century Fox animation movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did it surprisingly well in the theater. I was working at a movie theater when it opened, and we were fairly decently busy cleaning up the theater. It was a good kids movie.
Actually, his last movie is Titan AE. Oh, damn. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah. He's got a lot of bangers, I would say, and some of, and I don't really watch many kids movies. I don't have kids of my own these days, so I have no real, impetus to. But when I saw, like I said, when I saw this was on the list, it was just like, oh, I have to, because I still have like this weird kind of reverence for. It's just as precious to me. So.
Yeah, and even my wife was like, well, if you don't have a guest, I'll do it for you, even though it's kind of near my bedtime. I'm like, babe, we have a guest, it's okay.
Yeah,
because she loves this movie like so much. This, Napoleon Dynamite, and there's like 3 other movies. Like if I mention any of the other 3, she's gonna be like, when are we watching that? Oh, that's a few months from now. We're watching that tomorrow, right?
right.
And this is one of those movies. She's been on me about like, when are we gonna watch it? When are we gonna watch it? Because she absolutely loves the movie, and she even had her own like moments of like, this movie is insanely beautiful. Like, the artwork. I mean, we keep talking about that, but it's like, it's stunning artwork, and the narrative is very simple. But it also has a nice complexity to it, to where like adults can watch it with their kids, and everybody gets something out of it. And whereas like some movies these days, like say the new Minecraft movie, that is specifically for kids. That is not for anybody beyond that kind of age range.
Right.
Whereas when we were kids with this kind of movie, it's like, hey, you're marketing towards parents and children and everybody. you are capable of doing something like this, and Don Bluth did it.
Yeah.
So this is the example I'd point to.
Yeah, the characters are so just three-dimensionally sound. You know who each character is, are inhabited by the right voices. You
Absolutely.
just and even in like 80 minutes of time, roughly, you're able to just get a good sense of like the character, like what drives them, and just their personalities. And, like you can see their life outside of the 80 minutes of it. Just so fully well-rounded, and just it comes to life in a way that you certainly don't get in today's kind of stuff. And when you guys had invited me to the show to watch something, and I saw this was on the list, I was immediately like, all right. I can't remember what the other movie was. I said between the two, but I was like, it's got to be one of these two. And then I was like, I haven't seen Secret of NIMH in so long. I've got to do that. I owe this to like the little kind of naive, young, innocent version of me to go and actually talk about something on the internet that I actually just truly enjoy. And
Right.
And yeah, Dax is here in the chat. I believe he watched it for the first time ever with me, and like or in a long time for himself. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
I would gladly show this to people as like, if they're like, hey, can you watch my kid? Not that I think anybody would ever ask me to do that, because all my nephews are like in their nephews and nieces are in their 20s and 30s now.
I still show it to them.
But I'd still show it to them. Exactly.
Yeah.
Be like, look, we're sitting down, we're going to watch this, So good.
Yeah. Amongst all the animation, like this would be easily one of the first movies I'd show to any kid. If I don't have kids either, but I would show it to them too, and it would actually be kind of a fun experience to watch somebody else watch it for the very first time and be like, "Whoa, that's cool!" And then watch them as the years go on, see them grow up with the movie, and see how it develops beyond that. But Nads is out here. Nice to see you. We will see you in a few weeks. We're gonna get you on for a fun movie. End of days, everybody, when we get to Arnold month.
Nice. I'm a tech admin for Nadia's Discord.
Oh, I have to get on her Discord. Or do I need to be a member?
I'm not quite sure. She asked me to do it, so I got an in that way.
Okay.
So.
Nadia, I want to be on your Discord. Tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. Yeah. All right. And Marvin, I'm 47 years old and own this. There's no shame in watching anything awesome, especially the 80s.
Yeah.
Right on. And Mr. Mike. Idaho Mike. Love you, brother. One of our mods here. I do remember Don Bluth's animation was used in all my all-time favorite arcade game, Dragon Slayer. I spent a lot of money on that game. And don't forget the cartoon. That was a fun cartoon. We might do that on our Nostalgia TV at some point.
Nice. Yeah.
We're gonna have to, because I don't fucking remember there being a cartoon at all. I only remember the game.
I remember the cartoon before I remember the game. That's why I was like, hey, which game first?
I remember the game.
I sucked at the goddamn game is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the game for its time, it was not easy. I mean, that's from the era when Nintendo Hard was a thing. And it was in the arcades for the longest time. I think it was only a few years ago, maybe a decade or so ago, that they actually did a remaster version that you could get from modern systems, which I still need to I need to find out if that's on Steam, because I would gladly pick up Dragon Slayer.
It might be on GOG, but I don't remember.
Oh, well, that's just as good as Steam. I got a Steam Deck, so it plays just about anything.
That is a yes as far as PlayStation Network goes, but I know that's not remotely the same thing.
Yeah.
And everybody, Dragon Slayer is on DVD from Warner Brothers.
Yes.
I might have to go find that in the near future.
And I know that was the UK, but there is on the American site. It's the same thing. I use a VPN, everybody, so I can watch like wrestling and other streaming services where I don't have to pay too much.
Exactly.
All right. Well, there's a lot of good about this movie, but we also have to talk about the bad. Kevin, want to cue us up for the bad? Kevin, what do you got, buddy? What didn't work for you in this movie?
Honestly, well, there's only one part of this movie that didn't work for me. And that is the moment where Mrs. Brisby is singing while trying to administer the medicine to her kid. And I don't know what she was singing about, because all I could hear in the back of my head was "Cheer up, Charlie," and I just got up and left for about 5 minutes.
Oh, now you say that. Now I can't unhear that.
So otherwise, okay, the only bad thing that I would say about this movie is you guys talked about its rewatchability and wanting to watch it with kids today. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. Kids today are fucking stupid.
Unfortunately, I guess is the truth.
They're so goddamn stupid. They have no attention span. They have no
internet brain.
focus. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, are you telling me Skibbity Toilet is not the best damn thing on YouTube going today?
My kids would not watch this fucking shit. They would not have the attention span to sit and watch it. Like, I wouldn't even begin to ask them. My 6-year-old, who's not technically on the spectrum, like, has been loving watching He-Man with me. I wouldn't ask her to sit and watch that. I wouldn't ask her to sit and watch this with me. Like, it wouldn't be worth like getting upset because they're not watching it. I don't know that the audiences today at the same age that we did could sit and embrace this the same way that we did.
Right.
Like, they have too many other options of seeing bright, colorful, flashy, happy things. Like, this terrified us as a kid.
Yeah, this is very desaturated in its color usage, which is really kind of interesting because it's also at the same time, it's got a wide palette, but it is very kind of, and there's even shots in the daylight, but it's still got this bleakness to it in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just getting to spring. Winter's left a little early. So, I mean, everything still looks kind of bleak, to your point.
And the farmer's ready to till the ground, so you know you're getting into a season of upheaval just in general.
Yeah, even the rose bush, bowl it over or whatever he says. You know,
it's just a thorny at that. Yeah, it's just a thorn bush basically at that point in time.
Yeah. So, I mean, otherwise, gosh, I didn't really dislike any of this. It got a little convoluted, like I said, when you mix sci-fi and magic at the same time. But I didn't.
I'm a techno wizard, Yeah.
I'm
a little bit sci-fi. I'm a little bit magic, I guess that's just for me. I was cool with it. Maybe I was just so taken in by as it was happening, and it kind of gets to the end where she starts using the amulet to raise the house out of the mud. And
God, yeah,
I was all
use
in
the
at that point. right
totally derails the movie from the rest of the story, but I'm okay with it. Like, I was all right with it. It took away from another type of story of the Rats of NIMH. But again, I was intrigued with Mrs. Brisby's story. I want to keep saying Frisbee, but that's the book.
I keep wanting to say Bisbee because I'm in Arizona and like Bisbee is like not too far down the road.
Thankfully, like Auntie Shrew, like the way that she Brisbee. I can't do her voice justice, but it's just like she's a shrew. It's shrill. It's on point, and so like it's just
your kids are rats.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, she was also one of the first ones to like jump on. Hey, what do I got to do to protect everybody?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like she's another strong female character. Like there's just like there's so much going on in here in terms of fellowship and things like that. I mean, it's a great movie for what it's actually talking about and getting into.
Exactly. And I don't have too much bad to say about the movie other than probably it wasn't promoted the best back then. Probably didn't have the best budget, but Don Bluth did exactly what he could do for what he was able to do, and he maximized every single penny. He got the best out of every actor. He got the best out of every animator, and he made one of the best movies he could possibly do. And then when you get to the quote unquote sequel, you can just disregard that ever happened. There's only one Secret of NIMH movie.
Yeah, I would never sully my memories of the Secret of NIMH to watch the sequel.
No.
My wife was like, no. When I was like, what about the sequel? Before I even finished the damn word, she's like, no. It doesn't exist. It's worse than like the Never-Ending Story Part 3, you know. It's like, wait, there's a third one? No, there's not.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know, I think the love that I had for the memory of this movie is part of the reason why I had never gone back to rewatch the movie.
Ah,
I get that.
Like, I look back at movies that I liked as a kid, and when I watch them now, I want to vomit and tear out my eyes, like The Lost Boys. Stupid fucking movie.
I don't like that movie. And I probably just lost the subscribers with that.
And everyone's like, that's the best vampire movie ever.
No, it's not.
Word? Like,
I got fired from a podcast for doing that.
Anyway.
I'm just telling a lovely lady in Japan that I'm talking about Secret of NIMH right now. So hopefully she'll join us in the chat.
Oh, that'd be rad.
This rewatching this as an adult, golly, you know, I want to add it to my collection now. I feel bad for neglecting it for 40 years, and it needs to go up on my shelf with The Wizard of Oz where it belongs.
Now the DVD is decent. Now if you are first time watchers, this is on Pluto. It is on Tubi. You can easily watch this no problem for free on either of those two services across the world. I did my due diligence. But the Blu-ray, even I gotta admit, the Blu-ray was stunning when we watched it the other night. I watched it on DVD the couple of times to make notes otherwise. And the DVD is like kind of trash, to be honest. Some things make the leap very well. Some things don't. This is a movie that looks awesome on Blu-ray. I don't know if it'll ever get a 4K, but like Blu-ray is his chef's kiss. It looks beautiful.
I'm gonna have to look.
There's enough grain to it to make you feel like you're watching a film without make you feel like, man, that looks like some animated bullshit from like the last like 15 years. Nope. This ain't it.
Yeah.
So
now, I don't really have much to say in the way of bad about this thing because, like I said, this is core memory kind of stuff for me. This is, you know, this is like the good part of my childhood. It's like, you know, like,
oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, I was young when I first watched Nightmare on Elm Street. I think I was like 5 or 6. Watched the Dream Warriors. So like, yeah. So I've had a really interesting juxtaposition. I also watched Heavy Metal the same weekend I watched that. So I never really was too much into kid movies. So I think that, like I said, that's kind of the spookiness from
Osaka-chan.
Yeah, Osaka-chan. She has an amazing YouTube channel.
Great to see you again, Toasty.
Indeed. So yes, but yeah, no,
don't mind me.
I can't really say anything bad about this movie. You know, like then maybe that's, you know, like I don't know if that speaks to me, like, you know, watching it critically, or I was just kind of like, you know, I'm way too cynical and critical for most things most of the time. So this is, like I say, this is one of those things where you can just kind of like, you can hear it in my voice even. I'm just like, I'm very chipper and just up to like talk about this thing because it's just, I love it so much.
You know, I loved the ending. I loved Jenner's death as a kid, and I loved it as an adult.
Yep.
But I wish he would have gone back to the Rose Bush to have his kingdom and then suffer what happens to, you know,
the following day, right?
Yeah. You know, being in charge of this kingdom that's about to crumble upon itself.
Right.
I would have loved to have seen that. Here's
your crown, king nothing.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Thank you. I didn't want to be the nerd, and I didn't want to be the first to say it.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, nothing wrong with that. But like what you're saying, like I don't usually say this about movies, but there is a time and a place for things to be. It didn't need to be 82 minutes. This could have been a nice 85, 87-minute movie. there's like 2 or 3 or 5 more minutes you could have fit in here, and I think it would have fleshed out a lot of ancillary things that were kind of missing. Like we do go from point A to point C a couple of times, and we skip
Yeah.
like, oh wait, where did Jeremy come from? Oh wait, where did how are we suddenly getting to like Justin
Yeah.
versus everybody?
I suppose
there's a
that would
couple of
be
jumps.
like a nitpicky criticism is when they go
Yeah.
to see the Great Owl, that is kind of like a quick kind of they're doing one scene and the next thing you know they're just flying through the air and it's,
Yep.
yeah. So I mean there are little things like that, but I think that
It's just
for me,
nitpicky though.
yeah, I can be forgiving of it because it's like
Yeah.
it's in some ways, yes, it is primarily meant for kids. And so trying to get kids to sit down, like I know in the 1980s, like you barely ever get me to sit for more than 5 minutes. But, something like this was captivating. So
All of us 80s kids that survived this in the theaters, because I don't think I saw it in the theaters, but I probably did. I don't remember it at all, but that has to be where I got my memory from, because I don't remember.
my first
it otherwise.
in theater movie was Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I barely remember, but yeah, like we watched it in this theater that was a converted Quonset in this little dinky small town, middle of nowhere, Nebraska. And so like, and I think that's the other thing that I really take from it. Like when I was growing up, I grew up on a farm, and so like a lot of this stuff just just like it spoke to me.
Yeah, my dad had a farm, like 6 acres out in Podunk, Wisconsin, and so I kind of grew up with a little bit of that too, and I enjoyed a lot of that. I enjoyed all the references.
We even had a tractor that looked like the one that's in the cartoon.
Yeah, my dad did too. Although it stopped working after I think I was like 6. So that would be like 84 when that stopped working. And then it stayed parked for like the next 30 years. He finally got rid of it a few years ago.
Yeah, no,
I was still using Farmall tractor.
Right. No, our old tractor like that, it worked all the way well into the 90s when I was a teenager. I would do stuff on the farm during the summers, stuff like that too. So so I actually got to ride around on one of those things, and not just ride around, and I had to always go and mow the back pasture and crazy things like that with it. So
there you go. And gotta highlight this real quick. Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland.
I don't know that I've ever
Blu-ray on my shelf over here, everybody.
Oh, Saka, we'll have to watch it together one of these nights, and then we can do it when we start our channel that we've got in the works.
I have the NES game around here somewhere.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh damn!
I love it. Love it, Little Nemo.
Right.
Well, I think we've sufficiently gone through the bad, Kevin. Let's get on over to the judgment.
All right.
All right. What do you think, Kevin? Final judgment time. And John, we'll get to you soon. This is on a scale of 10.
I'm gonna go with a 7.5, a definite 7.5. This is a completely intelligent film, very, very smart, very captivating, so beautiful to look at. Chilling, even though you're looking at good characters, it's so chilling to look at with these glowing eyes, because of course that's what an owl looks like in the dark. That's what a rat looks like in the dark, and when you see it with a little bit of electricity.
God dang evil.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Damn nature you scary is one of my favorite things.
Right.
But one of my favorite quotes. But this is most certainly a classic. Again, I've misjudged it. I've mistreated it. I need to revisit it again. I will get that Blu-ray. I hope they do a 4K and give it some justice, because this was a lot of fun. This will end up being the next book I read after I finish my Lovecraft series. I want to know what happens. Like, was there a bigger part of the story? Because again, rats that can read, rats that are intelligent, that could speak, they barely scratched the surface of that in this movie, and I want to know what the rest of the story is.
They rigged electricity into a thorn bush.
Yeah, from the farmer.
Right. Yeah.
We're
stealing farmer, right? Yeah.
That was so funny. I'm like, damn, that's good. And then mice actually lighting candles in their own place of residence. I'm like, That's a fire hazard, everybody.
Carbon monoxide.
That'll take you out one way. Maybe that's where the pneumonia came from for Timmy.
Oh shit.
Maybe.
That was the first thing that took me off guard. I was like, oh shit, they're talking about pneumonia. Hey baby, it's not magic, it's pneumonia. I don't care.
For years now. John, what about you? What would you rate this, and any final thoughts on
if I'm rating it from my heart, I'd give it like an 11 on a 10 scale. But if I'm gonna actually be objective and critical, I will say I saw it in 1985, so I'll give it an 8.5. Because I mean it gets so much right that the little kind of nitpicky stuff is like, you know, it's like, yeah, you can try to pick it apart if you really want to, but why would you? It's so just amazing. And when the scene where she's feeding Timmy the soup, and it's not her singing, it's just like it's her singing over the animation of it. I kind of like that almost more in a way, because it's like it didn't just bust out into a musical, but it's just every note from beginning to end. Like I am so in love with like the time that I spend with this movie. You know, it just takes me away, and all the other stuff that goes on around the day is just kind of like, I woke up, I got very little sleep last night, and I was like,
welcome to the club.
Right. Well, yeah, I ended up talking really late in the night with Daxnar unexpectedly, and then I had to do the live stream on Will of the Fans course, and then I was like, all right, well, right for this, I got to watch this movie again because I want to make sure that I'm good and fresh, because I, you know, always want to be on point when I'm coming to conversations. And by the time I got done watching it, I was just like so wired and just up. I was like, no, I still need to get a nap in because I got to go do like, you know, a good 4-hour stream with Toasty tonight. And then we got to do this. And yeah, so, but yeah, my final judgment would be, if you have kids that are not completely, you know, TikTok brained or functionally retarded, you know, and I don't mean that in like a handicap sense, just kind of like they're modern kids, you know, right?
Stupid.
Yeah. Or you have like somebody that's just like, you know, if you got a friend who like, you know, depending on the legality in your state, if you want to like have some kind of like, you know, fun movie to watch while you, you know, imbibe in the long bottom leaf or anything like that, this is another good movie for that sort of thing. I mean, it's a great time. And the darker elements, as you do get older, like you can kind of actually even focus on those more than just like the amazing character that is Miss Brisby. You know, Jonathan's a strong character and he's dead the entire time, except for like when they do the flashback scene. And, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I would highly recommend this to anyone about anything. You know, it's like if you got only a 90-minute period to watch something and you like animation and you really like old school cell animation, this is definitely a good one if you can get your hands on it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
It would be an interesting opportunity to ask Tom Ruger if this is where they got the idea for Pinky and the Brain.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
honestly,
I would not be surprised either. I'll have to ask Tom that next time I talk to him.
Yeah. And for me, I'm going to just straight up give this like an 8.5. I have like no issue with this movie. It's just my early memories of it are just kind of like fizzling memories. Like I only remember like a bit of this and a little bit of that. I can't pinpoint where I saw the movie initially, but as an adult, I appreciate this incredibly more. The animation's outstanding. The music is haunting and brilliant and beautiful. The atmosphere is tremendous. The acting is pretty good. And you got some fun little early names of children that would go on to have some amazing careers. Some are just screw you, Wesley, screw you, like Brenda. But hey, I'm just having my fun here. But it's a hell of a
screw you, Wesley.
story.
It's shut up, Wesley.
Yeah, shut up, Wesley. I need to get a clip. Shut up, Wesley. But this is a great movie. I enjoy this, and I would recommend anybody check this out. This is the definition of a cult classic because it never hit classic level, in my opinion, because not everybody remembers it, and this is now under the Disney banner, everybody. So kind of buyer beware when you might actually get to see this, or if it might be edited when you see it.
Right, which is really interesting because didn't Don Bluth cut away from Disney because he was one of their animators and they were doing him wrong, and then he went and and so now to know that it's back in their hands, that to me would go in the bad category. If there's a bad, it's that Disney now owns the rights to it.
Now that you bring it up, yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it, I didn't think of that then. But
yep, he initially pitched this to Disney and they said no, they already had a mouse character and this was way too adult. And that was the final straw for him. And he was like, fuck it, I'm going to go make my own cartoons. Who wants to come with me? And it was kind of like when Image broke away from Marvel and DC. And they made this phenomenal movie. They competed with Disney, but Disney sucker punched them back. They would not allow theaters to matinee this or double feature this with another Disney flick. Like during the time period when this was in theaters, did they say that their movies needed to be double featured together?
Right.
Otherwise, they didn't care. But they would not play ball at all with anything that Don Bluth did. They were very petty about that shit.
Yeah, very petty. Well, I mean, that's at least they're consistent. You know, decades later. Yeah.
Go get him, Gina. Just saying.
Indeed.
Well, John, we're at the end of our show. You want to let everybody know where they can find you and what you do and what you got?
Yeah, I'm the man on the internet. I'm usually found somewhere on most days of the week. Tomorrow, I will actually be doing a guest appearance on Master Swag King's channel around this time of night.
Nice.
I think he's starting at I think he starts at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific.
I was gonna say I thought it was about 9. Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course during the week, my co-host, the leader of the Gooner Squad, Toasty, was here. I'm here. We do currently Mondays and Tuesdays. We're off on Wednesdays, and then we do Thursdays, Fridays, off on Saturdays, and then we do a Sunday cosplay Sunday special that we do every week. And we always do that. Starts at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Let's see, of course, as I mentioned earlier, I do Will of the Fans on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. That starts bright and early here in America at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. And then the first show that I started streaming on, it's coming up close to a year now, is over on Honey Badger Arcade. We do a show called The Week in Culture. That starts at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And, when I'm not on someone's stream being a co-host or a panelist, of course, I run the FFS Discord. And so I'm easy to get a hold of. I try to do a lot of back-end production stuff for a whole bunch of people these days. And yeah, like I said, there's not a day that goes by that you don't end up seeing me on YouTube. But I am now also, I'm the Gooner Squad General. I'm leading the revolution, the Rumble revolution, the revolt to Rumble, because YouTube is also petty, much like Disney, in a very top-down driven kind of way. So I just got my channels put together over there last night, and I got to start populating everything over. So in about 2 months' time, I'm going to start doing live streams of VODs again on my own channels, and those will be primarily through Rumble, but I'll still have the Problematic White Guy channel here on YouTube as kind of just a collection plate to, kind of induct people in to get them over to where I'm going. But yeah, I'm around. You can find me I'm probably on the internet more than most people would like, but people like me enough to keep asking me back for things. So, but yeah, no, this has been great. I love just a chance to actually just have a nice discussion about things I enjoy. It's so rare that I get to do that. The majority of what I do is spent talking about all this Gamergate stuff and all this other silliness. So yeah, no, this has been a pleasure, guys. For everybody who joined us here in the chat, anybody that's watching this now on VOD, thank you for taking the time to watch. You can actually see me talking about things in a relaxed, happy manner for a good hour of my life.
I know, right?
Again. Yeah, right. And other than that, I just tell everybody, as I always do, safe travels ahead. Have a wonderful week going forward, and be awesome as always.
Right on. Kevin, what about you, brother?
Well, you could find me here throughout the week, just like you, on the Suns and Shadows YouTube channel, also on sunsandshadows.com. We're here on Tuesday nights on 0-Point Reviews, where we review films that have been reviewed once or twice before, but we figured why not do it again. Thursday night with the Stargate Files. Did I say that right?
Yes,
Is that the
you
right
did.
show? Okay, I didn't know if it was Star Trek, Stargate, one of those nerdy shows. I don't know.
Because you don't care.
I don't. Friday nights we have Nostalgia TV. We are the graveyard shift of forgotten television for TV shows that people don't care about because they were forgotten.
Or canceled, yeah.
Canceled long before they were due to be canceled.
He-Man 2002, everybody, this Friday. Just
Nice.
Yes, that's our this week's podcast at homework. Are we doing that this Friday?
Yep.
This Friday. That's right. We're doing
That is peak He-Man animated. It's like
I'm having a great time watching that one. I'm like,
Yeah.
I never seen it before. So I'm like, whoa, this is pretty rad.
certainly better than that thing that came out Kevin Smith was a part of. Less said about that, the better.
Yeah, Kevin, why did you do that, brother?
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
You had enough weed. Yeah, I mean, it was the thing.
Yeah, he got paid.
I got paid.
paid. Well,
And of course, you could find us every Saturday night on Deadwire Live.
yep, our live stream of the week. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. We greatly appreciate it. And subscribe down below. Hit the bell notification. We'll see you all on the next one.
Now, Don Bluth Productions creates a new world of animation where fantastic creatures,
Why have you come?
great dangers, and great adventure await you. Look there. Discover The Secret of NIMH from the award-winning children's classic, rated G.